The Ocean Ranger is a large, mammoth oil platform. It's located off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada. At the time that it was built, it was one of the largest oil rig platforms ever constructed. At 25,000 tons and 396 feet long, 262 feet wide, 337 feet tall, it has the capacity to operate in depths of 1,500 feet and to drill 25,000 feet below the seabed. It is a marvel of technology. It is located in what's called the Hibernian oil and gas fields that scientists lovingly name Iceberg Alley. Icebergs as large as oil tankers, as large as freighters, as large as cruise ships are there commonly. But no fear, no worry. This structure is designed with a ring of concrete teeth all the way around it to protect it from those icebergs. In fact, the designers have designed it to take icebergs that only occur about once every 500 years and direct that force down into the seabed itself. It is a marvel of technology. When you are aboard the Ocean Ranger, there is no doubt that you are safe, secure. This platform, you don't even know you're out at sea. You have the latest of technology there on all the walls around you. Everything is controlled. Nothing is out of control. And those words, control, safe, secure, security, it hits us right where we live. It hits us right now today. We all can identify with security. We seek that kind of comfort. We want to know that kind of comfort. We don't want any fear, any kind of trouble. We want that comfort to know that there is no fear, there is no trouble, nothing is going to harm us, there's no danger, nothing. And security, that's exactly what you get when you're on the Ocean Ranger. You have that sense of security. Nothing is going to harm you. On February 14th, 1982, that sense of security was shattered in a storm that blew 120-mile-an-hour winds, 65-foot-high seas. At 3:07 a.m., the crew aboard the Ocean Ranger started to abandon the oil rig, some of them even jumping into the water. At 3:13, the entire rig was toppled over and sank to the bottom of the sea. For an hour and a half, many of the survivors floated around, but 84 drowned. They lost their life, and their sense of security sank to the bottom of the sea along with the Ocean Ranger. But most of us still want that sense of security. We want something that tells us there is no fear. In fact, we're going to start right where most of us would start to get that sense of security. You want economic security. You want to be secure so that no matter what comes into you in life, you have enough cash stashed away that you can cover it. You got it all. For now, for the present, for the past, for the future, you've got enough cash that it's there. No financial worries, no troubles, no concerns. But that's not enough. We want job security. We want a job that's got a future. We want a job that's going to be here 20, 30 years from now. We got a job that's not going to put us out on the streets at the next economic downturn, the next bad economy. But we won't just stop there. We want more security than that. We want marital security. We want a spouse who's going to be faithful to us, loving us through the thick, through the thin, all the trouble, all the afflictions. No matter what it is, our spouse is going to be there with us through it all. What we're really saying is we want home security. And we'll go to most any lengths to get home security. I mean, we'll hire companies to come in. We'll put all kinds of things. In fact, I've gone to some places where they have bars on the windows and on the doors just for home security. In fact, they'll even go further. They'll get these great, big, mean, vicious, ugly dogs that bark like crazy at the mailman. But frankly speaking, I've gone to a lot of those places. And the kids that come out of them are a lot more scarier than the dogs. But that's what you and I want. We want security. We want to know that we are secure. We want just what the word security means. The fear of trouble is gone. The fear of affliction is gone. That we are safe. But are we really safe? Those on the Ocean Ranger thought they were safe, thought they were secure, but turns out they aren't. No one is safe. Whenever there's some kind of human nature involved in it, we are not safe. So the question begs, can we ever truly be safe? And I'm going to say, yes, we can. And we are. We are safe when we are in good hands, in the hands of the Good Shepherd. That's when we're truly safe. That's where we have true sense of security. That's where we have a true sense of care. And in Jesus' day, that's exactly what the people wanted. They wanted a sense of security. They wanted to know that they were safe and secure. And they knew that they would have one that would come, a king, would come, a promised king, the Messiah, the Christ. He would come, he was the king, that he was going to give them that sense of safety and security. So the people came and they asked Jesus. They came and they asked him right there in the temple. They said, "Are you the Christ? Tell us plainly if you are. Quit messing around. Don't keep us in suspense. Tell us right now if you are the Christ. We want to know." And Jesus tells them, "I did. I told you. But you didn't believe me." They didn't believe because they were expecting a different kind of king. They were expecting something different than what Jesus was offering. A different kind of security, a different kind of safety. That's what they were looking for. What they wanted. And that's what they would seek. And they would find that in the hands of others. And it says in those other hands that Jesus warns them about. Jesus tells them, he said to them, "The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness about me." That sense of security, of knowing that you are safe, that no one can snatch you out of the Father's hands, that only comes from me. But they couldn't find that sense of security. They couldn't find that sense of comfort. Those other hands are the hands that took and nailed Jesus' hands to the cross. Those other hands are the other hands that pierced his side. Those hands are the other hands that mocked him. Those hands are the other hands that kept him there. Those hands are the other hands that humiliated him to death. Those hands are the other hands that put him in the tomb. But it was the Father's hands that raised him to life on that Easter morning, that brought and opened up the tomb. And Jesus says, "I and the Father are one. No one can snatch you out of my hands." So on that bright and sunny, warm Easter morning, Jesus comes out confident that there is no more threat of danger. There is no more worry because he has conquered Satan's ultimate weapon, death. It is no more. I have conquered death. And we are confident that we are in his hands. We get that confidence and that sense of safety and that sense of security, knowing that we are baptized into his death and that the same hands that raised Jesus from the dead are the same hands that are going to raise us from the dead. We have that sense of safety and security to travel through all of life, to face all of the trouble, all of the temptations, but you say, "I don't always feel that sense of security. I don't always have that sense of strength." But those hands that are pierced are the hands that feed you the strength. With his body, with his blood, they strengthen you so that you can face those trials, to face those troubles, to come into life and say you can live life knowing that you are secure with me. You are in good hands. You are in my hands. I am the good shepherd. I will dedicate you at the feast of dedication. But you say, "Death doesn't give me comfort." The crucifixion didn't give the disciples comfort either. It didn't even give them a sense of security. How can it give us a sense of security? But it does. Because we find that sense of security in the same words that the disciples found that sense of security. He says, "I am the good shepherd. I shall not want." The voice of the Good Shepherd comes through. It comes through to us again. It speaks to us through the pages of Scriptures. Those pierced hands are the very hands that come to us to rescue us. The same hands that proclaim to us, "You have life. You have forgiveness. You have freedom. These are the same hands that are flowing with love. The same hands that Jesus says, don't look with your eyes. Don't listen to the world. Don't see the things around you as the world sees them. My shepherd, my sheep, I am the good shepherd. My sheep know my voice. They follow me. They listen to me. Jesus assures us that He is in control, that nothing that happens doesn't happen without Him knowing about it, without Him being in complete control. He assures us of that over and over again, that we are in good hands, that we are in His hands. No one is able to snatch us out of His hands. Jesus goes a little bit further. Not just to snatch, nobody can snatch you out of His hands. He goes a little bit further. Because the world wants to take you into the valley of death. That's where the world wants to take you. That's where Satan and all of his dominions want to drag you, into the valley of death. But listen to Jesus. He assures us, He says, I give you eternal life, and no one can snatch you out of my hands. If you remember just a few years ago, the Detroit Pistons were in those national NBA playoff championships. Looked like they had it all in hand until suddenly the NBA championship was just snatched right out of their hands. But they're not the only ones that have things snatched out of their hands. Several years ago, a man named Richard Dawkins visited Australia, and he's not anything special about Richard Dawkins other than he hates God. He says there is no God. He says, listen to my voice, because I'm telling you there is no God, and that God did not create anything. He couldn't have. It doesn't happen. It isn't so. The Bible is just a lie. And this kind of language that he spoke was nothing new. People before him came and spoke the same thing. And people will come after him and speak the same thing. But Jesus says, don't listen to him. Don't listen to those voices. Don't be led astray. Don't go into the valley of death. For I am the good shepherd. I am going to lead you through the valley of the shadow of death. For I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Jesus is the good shepherd. He shepherds his sheep. He leads them through the valley of the shadow of death to the other side. Jesus is the light. The light pushes away the darkness. But there's a few that are in the darkness. They're brave enough to want to reach up and still try to snatch you out of his hand, out of the good shepherd's hand. But that's why he's got the rod. That's why he's got the staff, to beat them back into the darkness where they will stay forever, never to come out of the darkness. But we, the sheep of his pasture, we go through to the other side, where in the presence of our enemies, he will prepare a feast for us. On the last day, on Judgment Day, that's when the party begins. That's when the Feast of the Lamb starts. That's when you get to know you have the assurance. You have the security. That's what he keeps telling us over and over again. You have that sense of security with me. I am with you. I will lead you. I will guide you. Follow me. Listen to my voice and obey my voice. That's the voice that we get that overcomes evil. That's the voice of the sense of security to assure us that you can worship with the multitudes and multitudes who are already there on the other side of the valley of the shadow of death. Worshiping. Joining their voice with the voices of the millions and millions that are there in heaven. That's the sense of security. So keep in mind that we listen to the Good Shepherd's voice. He leads us. The Good Shepherd gives us that feel, that sense of safety, that sense of caring, that sense of security, that in His presence is always with us, that everything is under His control. And that's the sense of security that you get when you're in good hands. Amen.